guys, welcome to episode 8 of Ask the Trainer. We are here with lots of guests today. Kuma, he's doing much better than he has been the past few days. For those on Instagram who have been following his story, he's had a rough few last days, but he's doing so much better right now. And he has a new appointment tomorrow with an internal medicine specialist, a new one up in Orange County. So I'm hopeful that we'll get some new advice. Then we have Ophelia, this little puggy. Hi. She's board and training. Vlad is here. He's one of my clients' dogs who's staying for a week just boarding. Jax. Jaxie. Yes. And little Jax. Jax has been board and training for a month. And he goes home tonight. I'm going to be so sad. What are you doing, Jax? And Grizzly, obviously. And Juno's over there. You don't want to hang out? There she is. Hi. She's like, I will for a treat. Yes. Hi. Thank you guys all for all your messages about Kuma the last few days. So sweet. Shake. Yes, Kuma. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. I'm really hopeful that the new specialist will give us something new to hopefully wean off of that steroid, but his body just could not handle that decreasing the steroid, and if we keep him on it long term, he's definitely going to have a lot of issues. So we're trying to get him off of it right away. What are you doing, Vladdy? Vladdy? Vlad, do you guys know what kind of dog Vlad is? Show him. Vlad. Hi. He's so cute. They're super smart. Vladdy, what are you doing? Are you guys looking for crumbs? Yes? Are you looking for crumbs? So I've gotten like 5 million messages over the past couple weeks. So I'm going to do my best to answer a lot of your questions today. And the ones that I don't get to, I'm going to try to, oh, hello. Hi. Hi, little buddy. I'm going to try to get to the next Ask the Trainer. So bear with me, and if you guys have any questions during the live, feel free to ask them.
Okay, Kaelin, so your first question is from Cosmo, and Cosmo asks, I have 2 one-year-old shepherd mixes who we adopted together. They are heavily bonded. How can we ease them into being apart? It's hard to train them because if one is not with his brother, he freaks out.
Okay, so did they say 1-year-old?
Yeah, 2 one-year-old.
So for anybody else who's listening that's adopting like a pair, or did they say they got them as puppies?
Yeah, they adopted them as 1-year-olds together.
Oh, as 1-year-olds together. Okay, got it. So if you do have 2 puppies, you know, like before they're a year old, this is just kind of like a preventative advice. Make sure that you get them to be okay by themselves. There are so many people. What are you doing? There are so many people that, even my clients, that I tell, like, okay, yes, they're great together right now, but you just don't want them to develop that separation anxiety from each other. So it's so important to make sure that they are okay being alone. Obviously, this bonded pair, it sounds like they've been through a lot, so we're starting off even further backwards. So what you want to make sure to do is, this is something that they really need to get over for themselves to develop that self-control. So what I would do is, if they're going completely crazy in the crates, one, I would work on some crate desensitization work with each of them individually. So if you could have 2 people there and work on both of them, you know, like in the same room, going into their crates and working up, you know, using that crate command and then a wait command, and just desensitize them of the crate while they're still together. Then the goal would be to be able to do that when it's only one of them in the room. But the most important thing is that you have to shift both of the dogs' minds off of being away from each other. So what I always say is that the ultimate form of desensitization in dogs, like, people think that a dog is going to get desensitized if they just are exposed to it over and over and over again. But that's not how desensitization works in dogs. You have to be able to shift their mind off of what's causing them anxiety or what they're fearful about. So what I would do is if I had two dogs that had like separation anxiety from each other, I would have two people working and I would leash each of them and slowly move closer and further and further and further apart. So I would start close together, shift their mind off of each other by making them work, whether that be sit, down, puppy push-ups, wait, touch, any kind of commands. And German Shepherds are amazing at following those kind of commands, so that shouldn't be too difficult. And slowly move further and further and further apart. So then they're in different rooms and completely okay alone because their mind is shifted. So the goal obviously is for them to be apart without someone having to continuously give them that other job to do, but they're not going to be able to do that right in the beginning. So that's where I would start, and then I would probably use that crate desensitization and work up time-wise. So that's what we do with the crate desensitization. Command crate, and then increase that amount of time between when they're in the crate and let out. So I would put the dog in the crate, close the door, go out of the room, close the door, increase that amount of time that they're apart from each other. So you want to try to catch it before they start reacting and then go back to them, praise them, and not give them what they want when they are crying in the crate. So hopefully that makes sense, but I would definitely crate train. I don't remember if she mentioned if they did or he.
Not yet.
But same thing with like human separation anxiety. The most effective way to solve separation anxiety is to go back to the basics of crate training, because when a dog has it with humans, it's because they're designating that human as their safe place. And right now these two dogs are designating each other as their safe place. So you have to shift that safe place onto the crate for them to really get over that. So that should help. I know I kind of went everywhere with that, but.
Okay, great. So next question is from Cassie. Cassie asks, do you have any tips to help with dogs who bark at TVs? My dog is super aware of the TV and initially would watch quietly. Now he barks anytime he sees a dog, cartoon, or other animal, and unfortunately the list of screen triggers seems to be expanding. Any thoughts on how to control the frenzy?
Yeah, so same kind of thing that I was just talking about with the desensitization. I think a lot of people think, hi, did she take your spot? I think a lot of people think that how you desensitize a dog, again, is just expose them to it over and over and over again. Like turn the TV on and show the dog, it's okay, that dog barking. But what you really have to do is have that thing that they're afraid of or protective instinct, whatever's causing the dog to, whatever's the trigger object, you have to have that in the background and have the dog's mind shifted onto you. So that's the first thing. I would probably start further away from the TV and have that be in the background. Have your dog on a leash and keep trying to shift her mind to you. Sit, lay down, puppy push-ups. Again, look at Vlad. He's so cute. I can't even take him. Kuma, what are you doing? Hi. Good boy, Vladdy. Good boy. Yes. So I would try to work closer and closer and closer to the TV, being able to shift your dog's focus off of the television. Then what I would also do is teach a go to your place command so that when she is off leash, you guys aren't, in training mode and he is just being triggered by the television. Giving her a different job to do is super important, and that goes back to my golden rules of training. Redirection is key to shaping behavior. So when the dog is barking or you see them getting alert, even better, if you can catch it before the barking, you see the dog getting alert at the television, direct her to go to her bed instead. So I would do a combination of both of those things.
Next question's easy from Saeed. What are the most important things to train my dog?
Oh my gosh, sounds easy, but that's a very, very general question, of course, that Really, it depends on every single dog, but I always say that if you were to teach your dog one thing, it should be focus. To always get your dog to focus on you. Because when you have your dog's focus, you can get your dog to do anything and you can prevent your dog from doing anything. You know, if your dog is about to eat something on the ground and you can shift the focus by just calling your dog's name positively, you can prevent your dog from eating that thing on the ground. If your dog is about to bark at somebody, just shifting the focus prevents that. And then, of course, before you can command your dog to do anything, you have to get that focus, and you need to get your dog with you mentally. I think that's so overlooked. And I would say that's definitely the most important thing for sure. And that's what I've really focused on, well, when I can train with Kuma, is the focus aspect of it. And he's such a good dog. I can get his focus in any situation. I haven't really cared about tricks or any of that stuff. I've just really practiced focus. And then I guess for all dogs, I would say, you know, sit and down are really good. Being able to do down without luring is really important. Down is like the ultimate self-control position, and I find that a lot of people teach their dog down and they're constantly for life like luring their dog all the way down. But the goal with down, like a lay down command, is to be able to tell your dog that on command when they need to just chill out and relax. So they need to be able to do it on their own and hold that position. So that's super important. And then, of course, any kind of self-control commands are great. Wait, stay. Yeah, but it really depends on the dog. I mean, every dog needs different things. Kuma, look at him. He's like, why? Hi, Kuma. Hi. Hi, baby. What do you want? What do you want? Huh? Sweet pea. Yeah, so it depends on the dog, but those are a really good place to start. Those commands are.
Perfect. Okay, next one's a long one. This is from Lindsay. Lindsay says, hey, I just listened to your podcast with Danielle, and I have a question kind of regarding doggy daycare. So my parents are 60 plus years old and have a very high energy morkie puppy. They don't have a fenced in backyard, and because of health and weather, they can't take her on walks or to the park every day. Is there a way to get her energy out in the house? A type of toy or puzzle you suggest maybe? She hated doggy daycare, hated is capitalized, because she really loves humans and craves human interaction. She left shaking in her boots. Sad face.
So there is absolutely no substitute for exercise. Just right off the bat, that's not okay for a dog to stay inside the house all day and not be getting exercise. Exercise is number one, literally before training. You should exercise your dog no matter what. So if your dog doesn't like dog daycare and you can't take your dog out, then a dog walker needs to be hired. That's what I would recommend. And then of course, yeah, there's things in the house that you can do for mental exercise. Hi, Kumi. Yes. Hi. Come here, Jax. Yes. Sit. Yes. Good boy. Vladdy, down. Yes. Good. Wait, did you want some? Sorry, I forgot to give you. Oh, let me tell you guys what I'm feeding first. So I am feeding these freeze-dried treats. You know I love freeze-dried treats. Dogs love them. They are the least processed kind of treat, and I received these from Entirely Pets, which is an amazing website with all kinds of different dog things. My dogs just went crazy over the whole package that we got yesterday. They sent like pig's ears and antlers and all of those chewing objects that I'm a big advocate of. And these treats are amazing. Like, all of these dogs are so obsessed. These are the Real Chicken Recipe Raw Naturals from Entirely Pets. So yeah, exercise is number one. Like, your dog needs exercise and needs to go outside. And then after that, you know, they're training in general, different training exercises, self-control exercises, can stimulate your dog's brain and, you know, mind mentally, but that physical exercise outside is very, very important. Yes. you don't get a treat like that. Excuse me. What do you do? Yes. Good patience. Good boy. Yes, Flatty. Yes. You've been holding the down forever, haven't you? Here you go. Like crumbling treats everywhere. Are you guys being so good? Yes, Kuma. Grizzly, I forgot about you. Grizzly's always forgotten because he's so good. And that's one of my golden rules is don't overlook when they are behaving. Right, Grizzly? Right? Yes, good boy. Look at all of you. Good dogs. Yes, good job. Okay, I think we're ready for the next.
Speaking of golden rules,
okay.
Blue Sky Pomskis actually has a question about one of your golden rules.
Diamond Sweets Pomsky?
Blue Sky. So he says, hi, I have a question after studying some of your videos. On one of your golden rules about using the pup's name only positively, what is your advice for a multi-dog household? Like one is barking his head off or about to get into something that they shouldn't, the others are doing good. How would you advise correcting the offender without using his name in the correction? Thanks.
Yeah, so that is one of my golden rules. Yes. Wait 1 second. Let me see if Jax will do down. Okay, I didn't say it yet. Down. He's only done it when I'm sitting on his level, so let's see. I can see he wants to, but he's like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get a treat. So I only said the command once. Come on. You can do it. Jaxie! Jax! I know it's super distracting. Good boy, Vlad. Jax! Jax! Come here, Jax. Come on! You can do it! Oh, so close. Yes! Good boy! Good boy! It's so hard, isn't it? Oh, yes, I know. I know. Okay, so back to the question. Yes, only saying the dog's name positively is one of my golden rules, but also that redirection is key to shaping behavior. So you can tell a dog no, but you have to redirect them to what's right. So what I would do whenever a dog is doing something wrong, whether they say the dog's getting into something or barking?
Just, yeah, a little bit of both, but one
Kuma?
is barking while the others are being good.
Okay, so barking behavior, Kuma, sit. Yes, a barking behavior you want to ignore. When the dog is doing the wrong thing, like that barking, you want to ignore that behavior. The second the dog stops, that's when you can call the dog's name positively. So actually barking, you shouldn't be saying like, no, don't do that, because that's giving attention when the dog is barking. So wait for that second that the dog stops the barking, call his name positively. I guess like even right there, what Kuma was doing, like looking a little bit stalkerish on one of the dogs, it's just somebody's natural instinct to be like, Kuma, don't do that. But instead of that, shifting his name to positive, saying Kuma, trying to get his focus off of what she's doing goes way further. So hopefully that makes sense. I mean, you can absolutely, I think I get the question more like, what do I do when two dogs are doing like bad things? And I want to specify which dog I'm telling no. That's the question I think I get more. And with that, it's the same kind of thing. Like you would have to just say no and redirect each individual dog to what they're doing right. And then anytime you are trying to get a dog's focus, saying the name positively. What are you doing? Are you playing with the ball? Ready? Do you like the ball? I didn't know Kuma. Get it. Jax, you like the ball? Okay, next one.
Next one is from Parker. Parker says, hi, I have a 6-month-old Maltese and Shih Tzu puppy who basically runs the house now. I've been letting him sleep in the bed with me every night. During the day, he stays in a playpen that is really big, but I want him to start sleeping in his small crate and staying there during the day, but he hates it. How do I get him to like it enough that he will want to go in there at first? Should I just make him go in and lock the door until he stops barking?
Okay, what was the first sentence of that?
Just that he has 6-month-old Maltese Shih Tzu. He's been letting him sleep in
That's what? 6-month-old Maltese Shih Tzu, that's what?
Who basically runs the house now.
Yeah, so there's your problem right there. You should never say that or never allow your dog to do that. I hear that from so many people. This dog runs the house. This dog, I'm not able to do this because my dog won't let me. You should never allow that to happen, for sure. There's absolutely no reason why a dog should be running the house. There should always be that structure and boundaries. So yeah, that's the first thing. Oh my God. What are you guys doing? Are you in love? Oh my God, so cute. Hi, Juno girl. Hi, princess. Hi, you're shedding like crazy. The other thing with the crate training, right, that was the other question, was about...
Yeah, he wants to get him to start sleeping in his small crate and staying there during the day, even though he hates it.
Got it. So you just need to work slowly on the crate desensitization. What I touched on before, the best way to desensitize of the crate is to teach a crate command. Not just throwing a treat in there. That's super important, to teach a command. So when I teach a crate command, I will have the treat like in this hand. If the crate is right here, I'll say go to your crate. So start off like this and the dog is like right here. So I say go to your crate, whatever command you want to use. So cute. And try to get the dog to do that without being lured all the way into the crate. I think so many people, when they try to get the dog to go into the crate, just throw a treat in. So you're never really teaching the dog a command. With the go to your crate command, I don't give the treat until the dog runs in, turns around, and sits in the crate. That way it completely desensitizes the dog of what they're doing. It's just a command instead of just, you know, being lured in. When the dog's lured in with a treat, you can see they like leave their back legs out. They know what's going on. So you have to shift that mindset completely. Then once you get the dog to sit in the crate without like trying to get out every second, then you can start incorporating the crate door. But what I always do is not even start closing that crate door until the dog runs in willingly, sits, and can be patient for like 5 to 10 seconds for the treat. Then you can start closing the door and adding in the wait command. So wait, again, is a self-control exercise. That means just wait a second, and on my release word, you get to go out. So that shifts the mind off of the dog leaving the crate, because so many dogs are like pawing at the crate and are like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here, gotta get out of here. So when it's a command like wait, and then you can come out, that shifts their mindset too and will help to desensitize the dog. So what you want to do is increase that amount of time when the dog is getting it, getting more comfortable in the crate, increase that amount of time that door is closed before saying the wait command and letting the dog out. So I would say that's like the #1 way to desensitize of the crate for sure. And then just back to the basics, like feed your dog in the crate. I say that all the time, and lately I feel like there's been so many people who are like, oh, have never heard that before. So that's something that I've always been so huge on. And you see all the time, like dogs are fed in the crate, like the owner preparing the meal, and the dog just runs into the crate. Like that's amazing. So don't overlook that feeding in the crate. If your dog is a picky eater, entice them to eat. Find a food that they love, or add supplements that they love to get your dog to love mealtime, so that crate is a really, really positive place. Give your dog I always have like 3 different chewing objects in a dog's crate at a time. That's a lot of options. The dogs here are super spoiled, but at least have like one thing, whether that be a bully stick, a Himalayan chew, no hide bones I love, antlers, whatever to keep them busy, and also chewing is a way to exert energy, so it keeps the dog from being bored in the crate. Yeah.
Perfect. Next question is from Kaelin. So Kaelin says, hi, just listened to your podcast with Danielle from We Were What, loved it. I have a 1-year-old white English lab named Rosie, and she's my baby. Had a quick question since y'all were talking about barking and positive reinforcement. Rosie always barks when she hears someone in my apartment hall in like a protective way. So how can I positively reinforce her to stop doing this? Thank you so much.
So if Rosie's barking at noises that she hears in the apartment, that is due to kind of like a protective instinct, right? She's like, oh, I hear something, I have to alert, I have to protect. So with every unwanted behavior that you want to fix, you always have to think about, why is the dog doing it? Because of that protective instinct. And what would I rather have the dog do instead? Hi, Kuma. Yes. Look at me. Hey. Hi. Kuma. Yes, good boy. Hi. Hi. So, with that protective instinct, you have to, Jaxie. Jax. Hi. Yes, Vlad. Yes. Ah. Yes. Vladdy, all the way. Are you all the way down? There we go. Yes. So, why is the dog doing it? What would I rather have the dog do instead? So you have to give the dog a different job to do when she feels like she needs to protect. So my favorite command or job to redirect the dog to do would be go to your bed instead, so that when they hear that noise, she can run to her bed instead of needing to go to the door and like bark. Yes, Ophelia. Down. Yes, so good. Yeah, so that's what I would do.
Perfect. Next question from Maya. Maya says, I have a 4-month-old Airedale puppy named Ruby. She's adorable, but she's having some issues with housebreaking.
Kuma.
She does her business in the backyard, but whenever they go on walks, she doesn't pee or poo. So she wants advice on how to condition her to pee and poo when going on walks.
Okay, so this is an issue with a lot of the dogs, a lot of puppies, especially the ones that live in New York, because it's just not comfortable to like go out and go to the bathroom on concrete in the streets. So other dogs, though, it's just not comfortable. It's not comfortable for a dog to go to the bathroom on a leash. Hi, Kuma. Yes, baby. So what I would do is, this is what I tell my clients too, is make sure that you take your dog out a time where you know that he's going to have to go the most. So I would take my dog out first thing in the morning on a leash. And at 4 months old, especially going overnight, your dog probably can't hold it for very long the next morning. So I would go outside, stay out there for as long as you possibly can, and once the dog goes, praise the crap out of him for that. If you're out there, your dog doesn't go for like 30 minutes, go back inside, back to the crate. Take away that opportunity for the dog to go when it was in the backyard.
Yes.
Okay, so probably not a New York City dog. But take away that opportunity for your dog to go in the backyard. I find that so many of my clients have this issue, but are actually like lazy and don't want to fix it enough because they just let their dog out first thing in the morning. They're like, well, it's easiest just to let him out. I'm like, well, if you want to solve this issue and get him comfortable going outside, that's your best time to do it, when you know he's really going to have to go. So it's kind of back and forth between crate and out there until he goes. And really all it takes is, I would say, a handful of times for a dog to go to the bathroom somewhere where they're not comfortable going for it to click. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, next question is from Cassie. So she says, I really, really need help with my dog's aggression. He's a GSD, so it comes with the breed stereotype. He's so kind and sweet to me in my inner circle, but if he comes across a dog he doesn't know, he snaps into full-on freak-out mode. I can control him, thankfully, but I want him to be able to interact with other dogs without inciting fear with the owner and the dog. Do you have any tips? P.S. Your page and story are great. Love all the pups.
Thank you. Yeah, so it sounds like he probably wasn't socialized very well, or he never learned some like self-control exercises, or this is huge when, especially this breed, German Shepherds, they're not an aggressive breed, so that's a dumb stereotype, by the way. But when German Shepherds or any, hi Vladdy, are you so attentive to me? You're such a good boy. I've been training Vlad since he was like 8 weeks old. He's so freaking cute. They tried to use a different trainer that used like shock collars, prong collars, and because that trainer told his owners that that was the only way that Vizslas could be trained. But as you can see, he's such an amazing boy. He's now 7 months old and is just such a good boy. I mean, he's high energy, but as long as you train the dog right, they're amazing. Aren't you, Laddie? Yes, you are. He's so cute. Okay, so back to the question. Okay, wait. Oh, it's the German Shepherd. Okay, so a lot of the times when dogs are puppies and just start doing like little barks at dogs or whatever, their owners don't see why it's so important to curb right away. And this is exactly what I say. They don't see how important it is, because if you have a puppy that's barking and already having that kind of like loss of self-control, protective instinct, whatever is causing that bark, it's just going to escalate if you don't curb that right away. So first thing, that's super important. Now, if you already have the issue, you have to, you have to really figure out why your dog is reacting. So because a dog is barking and lunging on the leash does not mean that the dog is aggressive. So people confuse aggression and reactivity all the time. He could be barking because he's the friendliest dog and wants to get to those dogs, but doesn't know how to control himself, doesn't know how to tell his owner. I see it all the time. So you have to really pinpoint why he's barking. Either way, though, he needs to be taught self-control is how you get up to that dog. Once a dog is fully controlled getting up to that other dog, you can ensure a proper introduction. So if there is any hint of like aggression behind that reactivity, it's going to take a lot longer to get up to that dog, obviously. He might not get up to the next 50 dogs that you work through. So this is really a case-by-case basis. Any kind of reactivity and aggression, I solve this through the processes of desensitization and counter-conditioning. But what you want to do, one of the biggest tips that I have is I see owners constantly telling their dog, no, don't bark at that dog over there, no. Instead, you should be calling your dog's name positively. So when you feel, again, you know, going back to my golden rules of you always have to think about why a dog is doing something and what would I rather have him do instead. So why is he doing that? Pinpoint that, and then redirect his focus onto you. So you'd rather have him focusing on you and not that dog, of course. Taking the focus off of what he's excited about, scared about, whatever about, is how you're going to be able to control that behavior and solve his issues. So it's a more extensive process, which is very hard to explain, and it really just depends on each dog, case-by-case basis. But yeah, those things to start. Call your dog's name positively and try to shift his focus off of that dog. If you cannot get your dog's focus at all, you're too close to that trigger object and you need to back up to where you can get your dog's focus, even if that means out of sight of the other dogs. Something that's super important that I don't think I've ever shared on one of these is there's a huge difference in tugging on your dog's leash and neck when you're trying to get your dog to get away from that other dog. When you tug on the dog's neck, look at these. Oh my God, you guys are really cute. And look at Juno.
I think Juno wants to read the next question.
I know. Okay, real quick, let me finish this. So when you're tugging on your dog's neck, and that's everybody's first reaction is to just like, no, or just pull away. There's a huge difference in that. What are you guys doing? Compared to, there's a off, down, yes. And then actually moving with your dog. Okay, that's the end of that question.
Okay, so next question is from Irvine. He asks, hi Kaelin, I want to ask
And
if
a
it is
restay?
advisable to keep a puppy confined or crated throughout the day when we're at work.
They went to go play outside now. Is Kuma out there? So is it okay to keep a puppy confined throughout the day when you're at work? Yes, as long as you are considering the number of hours that your puppy can physically hold his or her bladder for. So a puppy can hold it for the number of months old they are plus 1 hour. So if your dog is 5 months old, the max that your puppy should be left confined is 6 hours. And you know, if your puppy is only 3 months old, your puppy should not be left alone for more than 4 hours. So it's definitely okay to have your dog in a crate for that amount of time. I would say the max amount of time that you should leave your dog in the crate for, no matter what, is like 6 hours. I would never, and I mean, that has a little bit of wiggle room, but I think 6 hours is a good amount of, that should be like the max amount of time realistically for any dog to be left in the crate. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, next question is from Abney.
Wait, look at Grizzly.
Aww.
Bubbles. This is what he thinks about all these dogs here. Oh my God.
Okay, so next question is from Abney. She says, hey there, I live in Vancouver and I have a 9-month-old golden retriever. And we have taught him a lot with the videos you've been posting in your podcast. But there is this one thing that we just cannot get. He gets very aggressive when we are about to take his harness off after a walk. He does not want it off and tries biting you and everything he can do to stop it from coming off. Is there anything we can do?
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. Usually dogs are weird about a harness going on them, so taking off, it could be just be a kind of control thing, but you have to, while you're taking the harness off, you have to completely shift his mind off of what you're actually doing. So, Juno, hi, you want this? Come. Yes. Sit. Yes. Oh, that's not a sit. Oh. This is something that's come up a lot lately in my training sessions. Like, once a dog knows all kinds of commands, it's the hardest thing for a dog to just like sit and lay down and do the basics. So I said sit. Juno went all the way down. Juno. June. And now she wants to give up. Juno. But she still needs to do what I asked. Right here. Juno. June. Look. Over here. Yes. Good girl. Yes. So she was right about to, her like leg went up, down. June. Yes. Good. She was right about to lay down, but you just want to say yes and stop her. Bang. I'm about to knock that over. That was a rollover, but close. June. This is really good because dogs get confused otherwise what you're doing. Juno. And now I said bang, so she needs to do it. We need to follow through with it. Juno Rose. Boop, 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 boop. This is my stubborn dog, as you can see. Over here. Juno. Juno. June. She's trying to hide under Celine right now. Juno. Hi, June. Hi. Yes. Bang. Yay! Good girl. Good girl. Yay! And you want to shake? Yes, Kuma. Yes, baby bear. Wait, let's see if he'll sit pretty. Kuma, sit pretty. Close. Come on. Come on. Oh. He sort of was doing it. Kuma. Kumi. So you just want to put it on their nose and kind of go backwards and up at the same time. He sort of did it already. I feel bad. Maybe he... Oh, close. Oh, oh, come on. Come on. Oh, cool. Does it hurt to sit up? Okay, we're gonna regroup over here. Come on. Come on. So sometimes if they're not doing it, you just want to switch up positions. New environment. Still not going to repeat the command. Hi. Hi. I know, you're so close. You're so close. He might be a little too weak right now too, poor thing. So we'll give him a yes, good boy, for just sort of doing a little hop. We'll give you that. Yes. Good baby. Good boy. Hi, guys. Hi, Vladdy. Hi. Hi. Did you guys run around outside? Hi. What are you going to do? Oh, don't do it. Down. Vlad. Vladdy. Vladdy. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. You're shedding too. Make the right decision, Vladdy. Hi. 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 Good boy, not jumping. Good boy. Yes. Good job. Okay, were we in the middle of a question with all that?
Just the basics of super aggressive when we're about to take his harness off.
Oh, yeah. So you have to shift the dog's mind off of taking that harness off. Hi. So what I would do is leave the harness on for a while when you first get home, because when you're getting in the front door, the dog is already getting anxiety. Oh my God, that harness is going to come off. It's the worst thing ever. For whatever reason, maybe the dog has a bad background, has a bad past, for whatever reason, he's weird about that. So you want to make sure that he's not thinking about it already. So I would just walk in the door, leave the harness on for a really long time. Then start to tell the dog to do things. So shift his mind off of the harness. So if I had a dog, if he were aggressive about like taking his collar off, harness off right here, I would first be holding treats right here, have my hand go like this. I would do this at this distance until he is not looking over here and watching this. Yes! Then he gets the treat. Down. Yes. If he is like looking like this, that means he's nervous about where your hand is going, and you should not push any further. So if he's weird about my hand going right here, there's no way that he's going to be okay with my hand touching his harness, and going any further. So I'd first desensitize him of that, then start touching without him looking, then giving the treat. Yes. Oh, he looked at that. Looked still. Yes. Good boy. And then I would go a little bit further. So now I'm going to start buckling this. Good. Up. Right here. And then I get it all the way off. Yay! Good boy! So that's how I would desensitize with the harness. Yeah. Right? We don't have that problem, huh? Good boy. Good boy, Daddy. Yes, you are a good boy. Okay.
Okay, quick question from Alexandra. Yes. She asks, what are the best ways to work with pulling? My 9-month-old goldendoodle is killing me.
Off. Down. Yes. Okay, so pulling. This has probably been like the question of the week this week, right? I've gotten like so many DMs about pulling and how to teach your dog to heel. And I'm going to do a video on this. There's a couple different things that you should do with like heeling training and not pulling. The first thing that I always tell people when they're having issues with their dog walking on the leash is that every single leash-related issue starts with lack of focus. So just getting your dog to check in with you is the very first step, no matter if your dog is just a leash puller or your dog is leash aggressive. Every single leash issue starts with that focus aspect. So throughout the walk, you should be getting your dog to check in with you by saying their name positively, giving treats when they do look up at you. Majority of dogs, look how he's about to knock that over. The second that they walk out of the door, a dog naturally has 0% focus on the owner. And so pulling happens when a dog is in his or her own world. So helping with that focus, when a dog is focusing on you, they're at your side, looking up at you, they're not pulling forward. So that's huge. Just that focus aspect helps so much right off the bat. The other thing that I always do is start off with teaching a wait out the door. A lot of the times, once that harness, leash, collar, whatever goes on, the dog is mentally already out the door. So then the dog is going to be physically out the door, physically ahead of you the second that you start your walk. So it starts the walk out on a good note, starts off fresh. What's super important about the wait out the door is not just that your dog is sitting there, not physically out the door. Your dog mentally needs to be with you. So I see this all the time. We want to do wait, open the door, but the dog is sitting there, the door's open, and the dog is sitting like this, looking out the door. You want to shift that focus onto you so that the dog is mentally with you, waiting for your command to go. When we do say the release word, okay, go, release, free, whatever you want to use, then the dog goes out the door, and then you have to make the dog sit. So if you don't have that sit after the wait and okay, or wait and release word, it defeats the purpose of the wait as well, because the dog then is like, okay, wait. Okay means free for all, like let's go, and then it results in the pulling. So make sure you have that. So those tips will definitely help you start off the walk on a fresh note. And then I'm going to do a video on heeling training, because that's a whole nother process. Yeah.
Okay, and this one is from Kelsey. She says, Kaelin, love hearing you on Danielle wewerewhat's podcast. Amazing how your business has increased. I have a pup question for you. How do I get my dog to stop eating leaves and sticks off the ground? I have the cutest golden retriever and a fenced-in backyard, but can't trust her outside by herself since all she does is eat leaves and sticks. She's 13 weeks right now, so I'm not sure if she'll grow out of it.
Yeah, so it's a really common issue with puppies. Just like babies, puppies like to explore the world with their mouths. So a lot of the times when people think dogs are like actually ingesting things, they're not. They're just kind of like seeing what it is. So some people get so afraid of their dogs doing it. which obviously it's not super great if your dog is just eating sticks all day. But it is a normal behavior that the dog will grow out of. But you can also absolutely teach a leave it command. I use the name interchangeably for a leave it command as well. Like if Vlad was going for a stick, I would say, Vlad! Again, once I shift his focus off of that stick onto me, we don't have the problems with the sticks. So I would walk around the backyard with treats, constantly call your dog's name, and give the dog a treat. A lot of times with puppies, if you're just being like, no, taking the sticks away, it becomes more enticing and it becomes a fun game. So if you just walk around the backyard with treats like, oh, it's no big deal that you have free roam out here, and constantly call your dog to the treats, it's gonna shift the dog's mind off of the sticks and the leaves and be more focused on you. That in combination with the leave it command and using the name positively to redirect them off of the sticks will help you. But it will get better just in general too with age. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's all of our questions for today. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. As always, DM me your questions, and we will be doing another Ask the Trainer next week. But thanks so much, guys.